They finally replaced my computer last week. I got a computer that actually works.
In your office?
Yeah.
What did you have before?
Well, I had one that Holder got rid of like 8 or 10 years ago. You didn't get that.
No. You had you just had a state of the art.
No, well, no, I just got one that finally works.
Oh.
See you catch up.
First time.
You can do it.
Rolling. It's good to get back to work when you don't play as well as you'd wanted to the Saturday before. It's always good to get back to work on Sunday and then obviously on Monday and start preparation and practice schedules for this week and get ready to go to Kansas State. We'll definitely have to have a great week of practice, and our players need to come tomorrow, Tuesday, ready to go to work, and we're going to face a really good kickoff returner. I think he's probably, I think he may be number one in our league in kickoff returns. Very, very good. Face a tailback that can make a lot of plays. Quarterback, in my opinion, who's gaining momentum and played better each week. So it'll be a challenge for our team. We'll have to handle things right this week, and as we do each week, we'll be focused on the preparation from Tuesday through Thursday afternoon and walkthroughs on Friday, and looking forward to traveling up to Manhattan and playing the next game.
Whether you change personnel or stand pat or whatever, is this a week where you do something different in terms of time committed to it or anything different in terms of kick coverage?
Well, we're certainly aware of it. Joe DeForest and I started on that this morning at 6:15, and I like the plan that we have. I don't think there's any question that we're all aware of what's going on as a coaching staff and everybody watching the game and everybody that likes for Oklahoma State to have success. And we feel like that we have a good plan. We liked our plan last week. We had chances to make those plays, and we didn't. And I certainly understand that we have a number of young guys on those units, but we're trying to make the best decision for our football team. And at times, it's not the easiest thing to do to take a starter off defense, a guy that potentially plays between 70 and 80 plays a game, and run him down on a kickoff unit. I'm not saying that we couldn't do that, but we're trying to make the best decision for our football team at this current time, and we will make some adjustments with where we're at now in order to try to help our coverage unit on Saturday.
You've never had anything like this. I mean, your history, 5 years.
Right.
It's very solid.
Yeah, and Joe DeForest feels worse than anybody. Maybe second worst than me. But I have confidence in Coach DeForest. We just happen to be young at those positions. We grade effort very seriously. A large percentage of the time, effort was not a factor. There's a combination of some youth, and speaking specifically toward kick coverage, scheme-wise, we've been okay. So we have to allot some more time. The guys that are on kick coverage have to do a good job of watching tape in preparation, and they have to believe that they can get it done. And so that's my job. But we're certainly aware of it and trying to move forward.
Mike, I heard you on the Big 12 conference call, and you just mentioned because of depth in certain areas, guys who normally might be eligible to play on those units, you got to be kind of careful with. And you mentioned it today. You're concerned about. You saw it with Andrew out here on Saturday. I mean, you're concerned about the high impact on, specifically kickoff return.
I've been concerned on kickoff and kickoff return for a number of years. I think it was 3 years ago they moved the ball back to the 30, which increased the rundown, the speed. I'm an ex-quarterback, not an offensive guy, but I like football. I like to be physical. I like the toughness part of football. I don't want to be involved in it, but I like coaching it. And so I don't try to take anything away from the game. We had a comment today on some hits and stuff on special teams. We need to get better. We need to be prepared for that. And We don't want anybody to get hurt, but you certainly can't blame the other guys because they're playing football. That's what football is. It's a contact sport. And but the speed of what's going on kickoff and kickoff return is getting greater each year. And the size of the guys are bigger, and it becomes the law of physics, and people run faster and they weigh more, and there's more collisions. So I am concerned about that. What do I have an answer for it? No. Do I think about it a lot? Not really, because I'm more concerned about preparing our players to play well and taking care of them. But it's real simple. It's cut and dry. You can take starters and put them out there, but if something happens to them and you don't ever want to play tentative, then that guy that's a starter on your defense is now no longer a starter on your defense. And the guy backing him up may be a freshman. So he may get 70 plays as a true freshman, not on kickoff, but now on your defense. And so that's really where you're at. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to beat around the bush or hide the issues of what's going on. And so we're trying to do the best we can to find guys in other areas that can help us, because we certainly want to cover kickoffs, and we certainly want to keep people from running back on us.
You obviously want it to be one-sided on Saturday, but it's a pretty exciting matchup with the two best running backs in the league on the same field.
Well, I think it's a good matchup. They do a very good job. Coach Snyder is similar to what he's been in the past. You know, he's been out of it for 4 years or so, and they run power and they run option and get downhill and play physical, and they use fullback and use a tight end. They're unbalanced, and their tailback's a good player. And he's been a good player, though, for a number of games, all the way dating back to last year. And the quarterback's played better, in my opinion. When I watch him, he's playing better. He's moving around, making some throws.
One of the best things that has happened around here the last couple of years is when you lose one, you don't let it bite you for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You recover and win the next week. You've done that for 3 years. How hard was that to change the culture back from 05, 06?
Yeah.
You lost one, you typically lose 3 or 4.
Well, it takes some time, and Sundays aren't as fun around here when you lose. Coaches are on edge, players are on edge. Guys will be critiqued, and coaches will be critiqued, but that's part of it. If there's a certain level of winning that we've been able to achieve here the last few years, then that kind of trickles over into Sunday. And so it's not as fun to be around each other on Sunday when you don't win a football game. But the players that have been around here understand the importance of whether you play really well and win a big game, or whether you don't play as well as you want to and lose a game, big game, any game. You've got to be ready to go back to work on Tuesday. Sunday afternoon, Sunday night is the time that we finish the game and we put it to rest. That's it. And so we stress that with our players. We stress it with the guys that are in the game all the time, and we stress it with the young players that are contributing some.
Mike, it seems like Sean Lewis is a guy who could be kind of an X factor on defense, a guy who just simply makes plays when he gets out there. Then any thought to try to just find a way to get him on the field a little bit?
Well, Sean's on special teams. He plays quite a bit for us, and he had it was either 23 or 32 plays, I'm not for sure, on defense. He is starting to develop and mature some and get out of being a true freshman, which we're going into game 8 now. So kind of our word to them is, you guys are no longer true freshmen. You played in 8 games. It's time to grow up. I don't know if they're buying that or not, but Sean has maintained a certain level of intensity in practice and has not shown has not flinched or shown any fear of playing in big games to this point, or league play, for lack of a better term. And so we anticipate him playing more, and gives us a chance to get JT off the field some. Instead of JT being out there for 65 plays, and he can play 40 and Sean can play 40 if it works out the way that we anticipated. But he's a guy that's playing better.
Mike, besides Sean, you're playing a lot of freshmen, whether it's on special units or scattered in like Randall on offense and so forth. You've always been an observer of how far these guys go before, oops, this is more football than I've ever played in my life. How are they handling the depth of this?
Overall, they're doing okay. If I was to tell you that they're not getting a little fatigued, and I would be, not really shooting you straight. There's some fatigue involved with these young guys right now, and you can break college football down into 4 months. You have August, September, October, and November. Okay, you play in a bowl game, you get 3 weeks off, 4 weeks off, whatever bowl game you play in. So essentially, it's a grind for 4 months. Well, we're in August, September, the end of the 3rd month, and you have a really 4 to 5 weeks left that everybody in the country is going through the same situation. That would be my guess. I mean, I've coached at several different schools and worked for several different guys, and most teams at this point are somewhat fatigued. They're sore. Guys are beat up. Class is bearing down on them, and it becomes a grind. That's the grind of college football. Coaches are tired. They've come in early. All those things. And so now it's important that the guys that start to go the other way, have to buy into the program and fight through the remainder part of the season. You got to be smart in how you prepare them. You got to get them out there on Saturday, and you want them to be healthy and fresh.
Coach, Coach, I know a loss is a loss, but when you look at this game against Nebraska, Justin Blackman had some success against one of the best defensive backs in the nation. The offense put up 41 points. The defense shut down one of the best running games in the conference. Just talk a little bit about how those positives can help you into the Kansas State game.
Well, when you look at the game, they won on special teams. Even though we had good returns, you look at 3 phases. On special teams, we had good returns. We had a couple returns out to the 40 or by the 40, and we did okay there. But they had the big one that kind of flipped momentum and broke our back after we had scored. Okay, so and the punt, Quinn was excellent. Their punter was pretty good, and so the rest of it was kind of a wash. Both field goal kickers played good. Okay, but they win because of the big one. Offensively, we feel like that we were pretty good in that game. We would have liked to not had the 3 and outs we had. We'd like to maintain some more momentum and keep the defense off the field. But they get a chance to make plays, and their coaches get a chance to call plays also. And they're going to make some plays because they've been pretty good. I haven't really followed the statistics close, but I don't know that anybody's scored more than, 22, 23 points on them in how many games? Y'all probably know better than I do. All the way back through last season, right? So offensively, we played efficient. We'd always like to play better and not turn the football over. We would like to have punched one of those red zone opportunities in for a touchdown instead of a field goal, like we talked about in here last week. But defensively, I think Coach Young would tell you, and our defensive players would tell you, that we didn't play as well as we wanted to because we missed too many tackles. We had too many opportunities to tackle them in the backfield for negative plays. That's a fact, and that's what happened. We win as an organization, and we lose as an organization. That's coaches, players, that's everybody involved. But the game's broken down for corrections, all right, so we can get better for next week. So to answer your question, Blackman played pretty well. Kendall Hunter made some plays. The offensive line played pretty well. Whedon played pretty well. We missed too many tackles on defense, but there were some guys on defense that also made some plays. We made a couple mistakes, gave up a couple big throws. Those things change games. So overall as a team, they made more big plays than we did, and then they were more physical than we were. They hit harder in the game than we did. That's why they won the game.
So you don't see your defense as being at a crossroads where it can revert to 07 form or return to what they were last year? I mean, you just think it was a bad Saturday?
Well, I think that each week that you play in our league right now with these offenses, that you're vulnerable. We've talked about this for 3 years in here now. I mean, we can say what we want, and the perception across the country, whatever it may be, but there's people in this team that can score, in this league that can score points. There's skill guys in this league that can make plays with the ball. And so defense in this league, in my opinion, is more difficult than it ever has been. And we're in there with everybody else, in my opinion. Guys better be ready to play, better stop and eliminate the big plays, giving up the big plays, and then you have to tackle. And I think that's really important.